our first PC for Sword and Shield.
Yeah, exciting.
We're done with Ultra Series.
We're done with Ultra. I know, it was like, we're done finally, if we can take a deep breath and focus on all the new Pokemon.
And now we have to learn all these new Pokemon.
Yeah, although one best change, I think, this format, at least for me, the one of the most fun was the speed now changing instantly.
Yes.
I'm so happy we don't have to remember that in Ultra.
Alright, so here we go. We have our team. So Jonathan Sparky VGC is running Rhyperior, Ludicolo, Bronzong, Togekiss, Pelipper, and Snorlax, which is a very... I don't want to say average team, because obviously he's in top 4.
Yeah, it's a lot of common stuff.
A lot of common stuff we see.
It's interesting, though, that because you usually don't see Pelipper and Ludicolo, and yet Bronzong and Rhyperior on the same team, and Snorlax, too. Usually gonna go either... I mean, you usually see middle-tier Pokemon you don't, when you're going for a half Tailwind, half Trick Room team. So to go full-on with it, it's a bit of an interesting play, but I can see exactly how it would work, you know. Togekiss Follow Me is super useful, especially looking at Alex's team here with Passimian, Gardevoir, Dracovish, Gengar, Whimsicott, and Duraludon. I mean, Follow Me on that. You take hits. You can take the hit from Dracovish and knock it out before it can hit again. Passimian is something that kind of sparked up pretty recently, at least to me. And Togekiss 4 times resistant, so I think that we're going to see Follow Me quite a bit.
And of course, Fishious, Dracovish with Fishious Friend. There we go. Of course, I feel like he's one of the more popular new ones. Here we go. We see our lovely trainer cards.
There we go.
I love that background. That mushroom background is
really pretty.
So beautiful.
There's so many good trainer card options now.
Yep.
I feel like that's the one thing that in this game that I didn't know I needed.
So of course Alex is going to throw out his Pokemon first with a Whimsicott Dracovish lead, and Jonathan is going to go for that Togekiss Snorlax.
That's an interesting lead, because, you know, in this case, you have two opposite sets of the spectrum. You have a rather slow, bulky, and there's the Follow Me with Togekiss, but Snorlax slow, and then Whimsicott with that possible. You have Taunt on the Snorlax. That's one option. You could Tailwind, make a Dracovish outspeed. You could go for a couple options. You could, I think, yeah, so we're going to see Follow Me from Togekiss here first off, but first and foremost there. And there's the Tailwind, so we're going to try...
Which, of course, now is going to kick in right away. I mean, Dracovish is going to come in.
There's that speed I was talking about.
There we go. It's going to take out
bulky.
more than half of Togekiss. Snorlax, of course, going for that classic belly drum, meaning that his attack will go up 3 stages?
No, belly drum maxes it out.
Maxes it out. Yeah. There we go.
So up to +6. I think it's ×4.
Yep.
I believe. That's interesting because, you know, looking at the team on Alex's side, not much is going to take that. Maybe, possibly Duraludon. I know Dynamax Duraludon could take it, but that's about it looking at the team. And then Snorlax is interesting, though, because one thing is, if you're going to go for it, like in this case, you're going to Dynamax it, or rather Gigantamax it, and Togekiss can Follow Me for another Fishious Rend, and we're going to see Whimsicott switch out, so yeah, they're definitely in trouble with that Dracovish. But with Snorlax, you have to have a second option. You can't just rely on Gmax to replenish because of that Gengar and stuff like that.
Of course, Gengar, already a fast mod, is now under Tailwind. So we do have Jonathan going for that Gmax Snorlax. Oh, looks like a little island.
It's like, yeah, I'm having flashbacks to Detective Pikachu. If only they knew, right?
Yes, oh, Lord, let's not. And of course, Togekiss is going to go for that Follow Me one more time, which Dracovish, Fishious Friend, coming back in, and it will take that knockout on that Togekiss.
And now, next up, we got that Gmax Replenish that is going to connect, and it has to connect with the Dracovish here. And that Dracovish, yeah, no way that was thinking that.
That was not, yep.
No.
Snorlax is, of course, going to find its berry one more time. So both Alex and Jonathan are now down 1 Pokemon. You know, Snorlax really can't deal with this Gengar.
No, not too much. Yeah, it comes down to, and with Whimsicott coming out now, there's a couple options, I think. I'm just thinking Taunt for now with this Bronzong here. Like, you could try and prevent the Trick Room, but then at the same time, Bronzong has moves that can hit both Gengar and Whimsicott, you know? Go for the Gyro Ball and, or Gmax Replenish, and then use the other have the other Pokemon hit the other side, so you kind of can knock out both. Whimsicott probably's got Focus Sash. Other than that, I don't see how Alex can survive this though. That's the only.
Yes, but of course, we do have the issue with Bronzong could have triple ally switch as we've seen.
That's another one
earlier.
good option too.
And of course, under Tailwind, once you proc Trick Room at that point,
it's bad. It's bad. Yeah.
But Alex is gonna go for the Dynamax. We will wait to see what Mon he chooses.
I'm guessing Gengar.
Gengar would be my guess too. Yeah, I don't really see what a G-Max Whimsicott D-Max Whimsicott is going to do.
I haven't seen Whimsicott Dynamax yet, ever. So I would have been really surprised.
That might be the softest wool ever, though. And of course, as I said, Bronzong does go for the ally switch, so we do know Jonathan can play those ally switch mind games now. Whimsicott going on to the Moonblast, supposed to go on the Bronzong, now goes on to the Snorlax, and that Max Ooze also going on to that Snorlax.
So they definitely saw that ally switch coming. It was definitely a smart play. Raising that special attack, that's going to be pretty deadly later on, because now, and it's Life Orb as we see, but Snorlax with that Max Darkness, as I was kind of thinking it might have, and there goes that Gengar. Yeah. It's tough because Snorlax, there's so many options with Snorlax. Your Cycle, Protect, you have then Crunch, and I believe still gets my horsepower.
Yes.
Yeah. Then you have a bunch of options. Some of them work. I know there's someone running Belly Drum Protect, G-Max Replenish, and Recycle. So in that case, I think what Alex did was right. I just think, unfortunately for him, it didn't work out. But he's going to bring in Duraludon, and Duraludon might be able to take some hits from Snorlax. Whimsicott's at +1 special attack, so if you're going to go for it, maybe go all out, try and get rid of the Snorlax. But, I mean, looking at Jonathan's side, you do have another Pokemon to deal with in the back, too.
Yep. And of course, Whimsicott is mostly used as a support mon, so the chance that it does have a Focus Sash is very high, but...
It's a smart play, though.
And of course, Snorlax does go for that Max Guard. Whimsicott using Worry Seed, which is not something we see very often.
No.
Ain't that a mood? So, Bronzong, and he's gonna get Insomnia. It's like my life playing out on stream. This is great. So Duraludon is going to try to hit that Bronzong, does not do that much damage, but of course Bronzong does not have Levitate, and he does go for the Trick Room. And I think Snorlax is going to be the fastest thing on the field with that Tailwind petering out.
I think so too. With Snorlax here, as we see the Dynamax go down, it's got Crunch, and so you have something to hit Duraludon, and then you have, no matter, I believe it's Hyper Beam, or not Hyper Beam, Giga Impact is the main move, so you can use that for the Whimsicott. It doesn't really, you can take the recharge turn and still knock it out. And then Bronzong's got the Gyro Ball for the Sash if you need.
And Worrying Seed, one more time, does not affect Bronzong again. Snorlax is going to use Darkest Lariat.
Oh, so Darkest Lariat's the move now. Not quite enough to knock out the Duraludon.
Yeah, not quite enough, but Bronzong is going to come in with that Body Press, knocking out the Duraludon. There's really nothing Alex can do now.
No.
Poor Whimsicott's just sitting on the field.
Yeah.
Wow, Worry Seed. All right.
It's funny. Whimsicott, you carry, I believe, Taunt. You can carry Tailwind. Everything else, up to you. I mean, really, you can do whatever. I've seen Sunny Day today as well. Worry Seed. I've seen Fake Tears.
I was running Fake Tears for a long time. I do love running Fake Tears Pokemon.
Yeah,
it's pretty.
Fake Tears is pretty fun. But Jonathan's gonna take the game as Alex just forfeited when he was left with that Whimsicott. One thing I think Alex could do to help his matchup is bring out Passimian. Because Passimian, you have a stab fighting move, and if you can get to the Snorlax in time, like we saw it with Togekiss right off the bat and Snorlax, depending on the sets, if the Togekiss, if it's like, say, Weakness Policy, Max Speed, Max Special Attack, Duraludon might be able to knock it out with the Max Heal Spike. It really depends. And then you can have a free hit onto the Snorlax. That could be an option. For Jonathan, sorry, Alex, but I don't know. I think that Snorlax is gonna be brutal, especially with that dark move, because your Gengar counter is just out, so you kind of gotta resort to hitting it with a fighting move.
Yeah, I think Alex would it would be a lot more helpful if Alex didn't bring Gengar this time.
Yeah.
Felt like a little bit of dead weight. And then, of course, as you were saying, there's a lot that Sparky could do to throw things up to sort of, play mind games with Alex. We see Pelipper and Ludicolo. He could go for a rain, which might not be the smartest idea because we do have a Dracovish, but it could throw Alex off enough. You never know. People make strange plays sometimes.
One thing I could also see, if Alex decides to go for the same lead, I wouldn't be surprised to see Togekiss Ludicolo, because you can fake out Dracovish, Dazzling Gleam Dracovish, or Max Starfall if you didn't bring in Snorlax. And that's goodbye to Dracovish. So, and that also actually would work against any other lead besides Gengar. If they have Passimians, thinking they're going to bring back in the Snorlax, you lead with that Ludicolo and Togekiss, and you're able to max air speed it. You get a plus speed boost. Probably knocks out that Passimian. So, I think Alex is in a really tough spot. He's going to really need to maneuver himself very carefully to avoid getting knocked out on or getting set up against, depending on who Jonathan brings out here.
Here we are, a lovely little trainer card. I love this. I love that we see the trainer card.
I know, and
it's so much fun.
It's true. That's
I'm just waiting for Dallas. I'm gonna expect a lot of laughter from tables of looking at each other's trainer cards.
This should be pretty fun.
And of course, Alex does switch it up. He goes for the Dracovish Duraludon. Jonathan does stay with the Togekiss Snorlax lead. That's a pretty interesting lead coming from Alex. It feels a lot more aggressive.
I think Alex. I think Alex here. The best thing to do is to probably Dynamax Duraludon, because you can hit Snorlax really hard, or Snorlax. You can hit Snorlax hard enough with a Max Worm Wind, lower its attack stat a little bit. You can take a G-Max Replenish, G-Max Replenish, and you can also, like I said, ignore Togekiss if it decides to follow me, or target the Togekiss. And then Dracovish, I'm thinking Dracovish here, the combination of these two will knock out Togekiss. Allow Snorlax to set up, but then, we're going to see Snorlax switch out. I think Alex put some pressure on Snorlax there with that lead.
So we are going to see that Rhyperior. I don't know if we've seen Jonathan. Has Jonathan been on stream before? We've both been playing. I don't know why I'm asking it.
I know. I'm like,
so it could be, of course, as you've seen before, with this policy, which is a very popular item right now. But Duraludon is going to turn into that D-Max Pokemon.
Yeah. Well, it's kind of funny. There's this meme online. It's the Guess Who game, but instead it's Guess Who Weakest Policy Edition.
Yes. Welcome to the very, very early stages of the 2020 format. And that Steel Spike is going to go in that Togekiss, but that Berry is going to come up and that will not be as effective. So Togekiss is going to take that pretty decently.
Yeah.
Now that Babiri is gone, any Steel type is really going to scare that Togekiss.
Yeah.
But of course, the defense is going to go up for Dracovish and Duraludon. Fishious Ren back into that Togekiss, knocking it out.
I think we know where the weakness policy is right now.
Yes, we do. We absolutely do. So of course, that might be a little bit of a problem for Jonathan, but I feel like he does now have enough to, he does still have enough time to sort of adapt. He does bring out the Bronzong, which we do know has Trick Room.
That's definitely
an ally switch as well. Yes.
It's I think the one thing that's scaring Jonathan, at least to me, if I'm ahead, it's the Dracovish, because if Bronzong may be able to get knocked out by it, it's tough because we're still so new in the meta. There's still not definitive sets, and we don't know exactly. So you gotta kind of measure. If it's knocked out, then this Rhyperior is gonna be in a bit of a tough spot. He'll probably get the weakness policy activation, but still.
And after that,
then it's tough.
It's very tough to play around.
But it's gonna max guard actually.
It is. It's gonna go for that protect. So let's see what Bronzong is gonna do. This is gonna give Bronzong the chance, and he doubled into that max guard, meaning that Bronzong is able to do whatever he wants. Trick Room coming up, meaning for the next 4 turns, we will be in Twisted Dimensions. So for anyone who has never really been interested in VGC, Trick Room is going to make your slowest Pokemon move first instead of the other way around.
Yeah.
I do love seeing Hard Trick Room come back. I miss
right now,
playing Trick Room teams. I thought they were so much fun. They sort of petered out for a bit. And Bronzong is going to go onto that Gyro Ball, blocking his own weakness policy with very little HP damage going on. Rhyperior going for that max
That was
Quake.
smart.
onto that Duraludon, and it is.
Oh, good! It's gonna take it.
It is gonna take it, but
okay.
that is a lot of damage, and of course the special defense for both Bronzong and Rhyperior are gonna go. That was, I think we've seen that a lot, but
oh, we just lost the other
Duraludon too.
Oh my gosh!
Lord!
Here we go.
Fish is gonna go for the Fishy's Friend onto that Bronzong. It's gonna take a little more than half HP. Max Steel Spike is gonna go into that Bronzong one more time and completely take it out.
No, I think it survived with 3 HP.
Survived.
3 HP, I'm pretty sure.
No.
Yeah, I took it.
And Duraludon is gonna go back to being a normal size large Pokemon. Bronzong surviving with 3 HP.
That is nuts.
That must have been a roll.
That has to have been a roll. That has to. I mean, right now, if you're right here, you target the Dracovish, you can Gyro Ball Duraludon and knock it out, I'm sure, and that's gonna practically end it. I mean, there is one thing I think Alex could do to win this, and it is stall out the Trick Room.
Yes, and he's going to try. He is protecting onto that Duraludon. Bronzong's going to use Body Press into that Protect, unfortunately. But Rhyperior using Max Rifle, Max moves to ignore Protect. It's going to go on that Dracovish and completely knock that out.
Yeah. With a crit. Just because.
Just, you know, to add insult to injury, let's add a crit to that. I love this game.
I know, right? There's also, just to keep in mind, there's one more turn left on Rhyperior's Dynamax. So I think another thing, if you're Alex, you could kind of use that to your advantage. There's the Passimian,
and there's the Passimian one more time.
Oh, sorry, it's done this turn, So now you can look at.
I wasn't keeping track either. So
no, it's okay. I'm like, it should. I was like, we have all this on the bottom. We can maybe that would be a future update or something. But anyway, 2 more turns to Trick Room, so it's gonna be a bit tough to stall it out. Bronzong can really knock out Duraludon, and then Rhyperior, you click on, I think, Earthquake here because you still have the Levitate. Didn't get Worried Seated this turn, so I think you click Earthquake, and that should be enough. If Passimian somehow survives, Rhyperior might be in trouble, but it's going to be brutal anyway.
But Alex is going to take Duraludon out and send in Gardevoir, which again is another mon that we really don't see that often. Bronzong is going to use Body Press onto that Gardevoir. That's like, what, a 1/6 of damage?
Yeah, pretty much.
Rhyperior Earthquake, it is not going to hit that Bronzong. It's going to hit both Passimian and Gardevoir, and he is out with his policy right now, so that is going to knock out that Gardevoir. Passimian is holding on by a thread. Passimian close combat onto that Rhyperior. Takes it down to less than half, which I think is really great. But I think now that, you know, Alex is going to have that Passimian that is almost gone, and that Duraludon. And Passimian holds on with 4 HP after Sandstorm. You know, Duraludon is also going to come in. Honestly, you know, I don't think we've seen Bronzong Protect. He could honestly just Protect and stall out Sandstorm.
I think we might know Bronzong or Duraludon. Yeah, I think here you have 3 more turns of Sandstorm. Trick Room, 1 more turn of Trick Room. If the Sandstorm wasn't up, then I would say. But Alex
no one protects. Bronzong uses that Body Press on a Duraludon, taking it out. I don't think Passimian can really do anything here either.
Well, you just click Earthquake. And that's it, That's it. I was thinking if it was like the timing on Trick Room could not have been better because there was Sandstorm combo too. Because if it wasn't for the Sandstorm, they could have double protected and they would have had a shot because the Trick Room would have ran out. But because you had that combo, it really put pressure on Alex where he was trapped him.
And Sparky, Jonathan takes that game. That was so much fun.
It was entertaining, yeah.
It was. So I don't think we should do interviews today because we're gonna see Jonathan again on stream in finals now. Has our last game finished? No, our other top 4 game is still playing, so we are gonna take a quick break while we wait for them to finish up. You know what? I have no idea what to say anymore.
Come back for finals.
Yes, come back for finals.
For sure.